If all your friends jumped off a bridge, would you jump too? So when your mom asked this question, she clearly wanted you to answer no. But in reality, the answer should vary depending on the height of the bridge, the depth of the water, the speed of the water current, and your ability to swim. Because sometimes bridge jumping wakes up your soul and reminds you you're alive, and sometimes bridge jumping breaks your spinal cord and paralyzes you for life. Sometimes moms know what they're talking about. But sometimes moms don't, so don't mindlessly accept your parents' proverbs, because the proverb about the bridge is really about thinking for yourself. Because if all your moms jumped off a bridge, would you jump too? But seriously, don't be swept up in the streams of conformity. You can't just go with the flow, because often the flow flows off a cliff, and though we think waterfalls are pretty, I'm pretty sure that the droplets would disagree. It seems to me that for a water droplet, that would be scary. Everything the droplet ever knew, everything he based his life on is gone. The earth literally disappears beneath his feet, and all he has is 50 feet to contemplate a life unlived. And when they get into free fall, it's every droplet for himself. No more cooperation, just frantic contemplation, and unlived lives flash by their eyes as the rocks below seem to grow in size. As the droplets drop to their demise, one drop opens his mouth and cries, "I really should have thought about where this would lead us." So before we leave the shore, let's discover our destination. And before we set the sails, let's look into navigation. It's not good to go wherever the wind will take us, to rush towards whatever rocks will break us. Don't trust the whims of the wind. There's a reason why nobody travels via hot air balloon. Sometimes you gotta be like a salmon, swimming upstream, holding on to your dream that the struggle is worthwhile. Though the water is hostile, fighting against you mile after mile, at the end, you have a chance to be fertile. Sometimes all the other fish are gonna swim in the opposite direction, but don't strive for popularity, strive for perfection. No matter which way the waves flow, look towards the light. That's the direction you should go, but don't be a rebel without a cause, seeking only to revel in the applause of admiration, because sometimes it's cool to go against the flow. And I know that every river has an undertow, so although you might hate status quo, you're no more of an Uno than an everyday John Doe. You just go with a different flow, a flow below the surface, because sometimes the people who pretend to be different only try to be different so they can fit in. That sounds a lot like conformity to me. We need to take our minds up off our shelves, dust them off, and think for ourselves, because as life progresses, it gets progressively more difficult to escape conformity. So start thinking for yourself while you're still young, or at least younger than you will be, and you will be grateful. You will be grateful in years to come that you have come so far, saying au revoir to conformity. And if you ask me, the key is not going with the flow, but knowing where the flow goes. And it goes without saying that sometimes the path our world is laying is a good one, but often it's not, which is why we need thought to think things through before we walk down the path of destruction. Let's find the blueprints before we start construction, and then finally, we might just build a better world.